Hi guys, Luton here, and so today, against perhaps my better judgment, I'm going to try and showcase for you the helicopter assignment with Arma 3. And this gives you a good idea of what you can expect from helicopter action within Arma 3. We have a mission to assume, and we have orders to follow. I'm going to do so to the best of my limited ability. Bear in mind that this is literally, I don't know, I've only run this mission a couple of times so far. Okay, start up our engines. And getting used to helicopter controls in Arma 3 is significantly different to Battlefield. It really is. They handle so sensitive and so different. And the weighting and momentum is really much similar to, I suppose, real life, as everything in Arma 3 tries to. But bear in mind, it has been noted that the momentum in Battlefield 3 is going to be significantly different. Whether it's going to handle like this, I'm not entirely sure, but if it does have more kind of similarities with these kind of movements, it's going to be very interesting indeed. This is a good opportunity to have a little showcase around, and you can see our sort of different optics and so on.
Hydra, be advised, we've got 2 Alpha Victors approaching the radar facility from the west. Engage and destroy those vehicles.
Understood, Griffin. Hydra diverting now.
Okay, so we've got some enemy targets to engage coming up ahead. You can see them up on the road here. I'm going to try and slow us down a little bit. I'm going to watch out for these towers as well. Hopefully if I can slow us down enough, it will enable us to get some missile locks on these guys up ahead. Right, here we go. Lock 1. I don't know if we hit that second target right there. We're banking around to come have a look-see. No. Second target's still live. So we're pulling up, level off. And these guys are on the ground right here now. We've still got a couple of guys on the ground. And pull back around for another pass. Okay, that's our targets down. We've neutralised the enemy vehicles.
Unload Viper Red at the facility and await further orders.
Okay.
Roger.
So our next objective is to unload our troops at the target up ahead, which is of course the radar base. And the game is saving itself right here. Here we go. So here's our next objective, and we're moving in on the target zone. So basically going to start decreasing our altitude right here and hopefully put it on the deck. Just continuing to slow us down right here.
Fuck! We're under attack here! Griffin! Mike 2-6 is under sustained mortar attack. Unable to land. Acknowledge.
Understood. Locate and engage those mortars.
Okay, so apparently we've got to destroy some mortar targets before we can actually engage the land. We're starting to come into land there and we're taking a little bit of fire. So banking back around here. And we can actually see the mortar targets right up ahead. Maybe if I can get a accurate burst from the miniguns, we might actually be able to hit these targets. However, it's going to be pretty tricky.
Be advised, mortars are neutralized.
Okay, managed to take those mortars right out.
Red at Mike 2-6 and report back.
Understood. Moving into land.
Okay, so now we are actually coming into land, which is going to be interesting for sure. Okay, we're coming in. I know a lot of people have said it's a lot easier to actually land from third-person view. I'm sure that's true, but it sort of detracts a little bit from the realism of the game. That's why I'm trying to land using the first-person view right here. We're not doing too bad right this second. Just trying to level it off, pull us in for a nice landing right here. Continually pulling us down. And that'll do. Alright, we're on the ground.
Hydra's landed at Mike 2-6. Viper Red, go, go, go! Griffin, Viper team deployed.
Okay, guys on the ground, we're ready to go. And the game is saving again. Thank you very much, game, for destroying any sense of immersion we had right there, but all the same. Okay, we've got to resupply before we complete our mission, so it's going to mean another landing. But this gives you a great sense of the helicopter role within Arma 3, and I really enjoy the helicopter role. I'm definitely no expert pilot right now. For example, I know there's other things you can get, like the track IR system, which allows you to basically free look like I have been doing. Right now I'm just holding Alt and looking around. But with the track IR system, you can literally move your head around and it'll do that for you. Also the pedals will allow you to kind of move the rudder. As you can see, it's basically the horizontal tracking of the helicopter itself. I'm going to bank around right here before we go for a landing. And the pedals I've considered to get because they're not massively expensive and they will actually allow you to kind of track your helicopter so much more effectively than just using the keys. It's not really that difficult with the keys though. Right, here we go. Come in for our landing. So dropping off some altitude right here. I think the key thing with helicopters is to really get your fine controls down. You know, like just get really good at the small movements. And we're going to need to come around right here. See where we are? Well, we're pretty close on target right here. Whew, how am I going on the deck? This is a stressful thing, seriously, trying to keep it under control. When it can really swing when you're in those kind of low movements. It can be really tricky. Bear in mind...
Hydra is rearming at Rogan.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Griffin, this is Hydra. We're good to go here.
Okay, we're good to go. And off we go with the helicopter again. New mission status, please. Update our objectives. Defend Commamino base. 2.1 kilometers. Alright, let's rock and roll. Now, try to bear in mind, alright, this is maybe the 4th, 5th time I've actually flown helicopters in Arma, so I think I'm not doing too bad considering the learning curve right here, which is significant to be honest. But anyway, all the same. Right, we've obviously got some targets up ahead here. I'm just going to fly by, take a little look. see what we've got to deal with. Got an assault boat on the ground, possible mortar units. Either way. Let's pull back around. Maybe we can run a little fire run past these guys. Okay, we're going to level up.
Enemy mortars are destroyed.
And they're down. Good job.
Well done, Hydra. Ground forces will take care of the remaining enemy presence. Return to the airbase.
Copy that, Griffin. We're RTB.
Now we can see the rest of the combat happening right here, and a save destroying our gorgeousness right there. Anyway, so this gives you a good little, see the ground combat happening right here, and we're returning to base 4.1 kilometers. Okay, we're going to take us on a little review around the island. First of all, we'll take a little trip. We'll leave these guys to fix up their situation there on the ground. But yeah, so you may have noticed I was not discussing and talking as much as I often do with videos. Seriously, the concentration required to actually effectively engage and land these targets is significant. Landing is not too bad, because often landing, you can take some time, you know, you're often not in a real dangerous situation, and you can sort of take your time to how you want to approach it. But an active engagement that's maybe time intensive is a completely different situation, and that's something that has really been very hard to get to grips with. Taking out those two Humvees that were on top of the hill line ridge, that was one of the trickiest things that I can think of that I've had to do in a long time in playing games. It took me a couple of goes to sort of really get it down, and I mean, I don't even know yet whether helicopter pilots will generally sort of do quick engagements. Something to note though is that helicopters in Arma really do handle very, very differently. I mean, they handle differently in other games as well, but I notice more so they have really specific handling, and I think that's something, you know, that matters when you're looking at the difference between, for example, a transport helicopter and an attack helicopter, something like the Little Bird. Little Bird, it's smaller, so you can kind of spin it around a lot faster. It's a lot more agile. You can really sort of get in on those targets a lot quicker. You can compensate quicker, so you can really sort of throw it around more. This chap right here, this heli, is a bigger job, you know. It's a bigger helicopter. You can't throw it around as much. You know, it'll still fly plenty fine, but you can't throw this guy around as much. So we're coming back to base now and complete our mission. And I have to say, I was quite pleased with the success of that mission, because I think if you've tried that for yourself, you'll know it's not the easiest thing. It's really not the easiest thing. We're going to drop off some altitude right here and pull us round for the correct approach. One thing that's a little bit of a shame is you can't taxi helicopters, I don't believe, and taxiing helicopters would make a lot of sense and help quite a lot. I would appreciate that if it was to be put into the game, but I mean, it's not essential, but it would be nice. In an airport situation, helicopters aren't always going to be landing, especially in military situations, right on the dot. They'll often land on the runway and then taxi. Right, we're coming up to the base right ahead, so we're going to want to slow it down, continue to drop off on the altitude and compensate for any... Bear in mind as well, like I've said before, wind coming into the game later, so people need to be aware of that. And we're coming in for a nice landing. You're dropping off the altitude, nearly on the deck, coming in, drop it off. Whoa, a little bit of sway in the pedals right there. Whoa, And we're on the ground. We're on the ground. There we go. Mission accomplished.
Home sweet home.
There we go. Engine off. Mission complete. Right, there we go. It's a bit difficult to sort of ascertain just how stressed I feel from the end of that mission. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thanks to well-executed aerial support, ground forces managed to fend off both attacks on Mike 2-6 and Commamino base. Enemy forces were decimated. There you go. Apparently I didn't deploy troops, transport things, but I was pretty sure that I did transport and do those things, but there we go. Anyway, so we've done pretty much most of these things. Oh, I see. These were cancelled out because we did it on, those were our original objectives, and then they've been cancelled out on the fly while we've been in there. So we've defended all our objectives, resupplied, and back to base. Got a couple of kills there. That's the end of the mission. Hope you've enjoyed, guys. Look forward to your comments and thoughts. Do you think I did a good job there? Do you think I sucked? I'm not so sure. I think I did an average job there. Hey, I completed all my objectives, and I didn't crash the bloody thing, so you've got to be doing something right there. Transport heli is something that I'm looking really to play as a role within Arma, and I'm hoping that, as I say, with a bit more practice and time in the aircraft, I'll be able to get a little bit better at it, be able to pull off some quicker landings, because that's going to be really key when you're actually in real combat situations where you're coming into land, you're taking fire. You really got to get that thing on the deck and take off. You've got to drop your troops and get out of there, and so that's going to be the kind of thing that I'm practicing. That's the great thing about having the editor in Arma as well, though, is that you can continually practice, and this is the kind of game where practice is key. So I'm going to be coming back with some more thoughts about that. We'll probably have some more little helicopter missions, objectives, and perhaps I'll get some multiplayer helicopter action if I can get in any games which will allow it without any kind of crazy things happening there. Thanks for watching, guys. As I say, if you've enjoyed, drop me a like, it always helps out, and I'll see you soon for some more Arma 3.